Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining and welcome in. I am Pratik. Pratt works too. Solution sales here at appse AI. Here's the one line version of today: AI inside your manufacturing ERP, not bolted on, built in. And instead of talking about it for 30 minutes, we are going to show it four live workflows running right inside SAP Business One. No mockups, no imagine if. Honestly, this is the exact conversation I have on almost every call. Someone's proud of the AI they have bought until I ask where it actually lives, and it turns out to be three tabs away from the ERP it is supposed to be helping. I'll be running things behind the scenes and jumping in for two of the demos later, but the person driving most of today is Kaushik. Over to you.
Thank you, Pratik. Hello, everyone. I'm Kaushik, Head of Results here in FCI. So I am into this industry for last 15 years, and mostly I have given the solution in the manufacturing and procurement divisions. So I have gone through many of the challenges that industry or that an organization is facing, out of which we have identified four flows, which actually we are going to focus on, and will not talk about that. We'll just showcase you how the problem that AppSea is going to resolve. Uh, so let me share my screen. So today's agenda is why operational AI belongs inside your ERP. Live demo that we are going to cover is that vendor invoice to PDF. So ideally, in the B2B business, we have seen maybe you are receiving hundreds and thousands of invoices, purchase invoices. Based on that, actually, your team, backend team, is going to enter the sales order and it processes. We'll discuss later the challenges. Second is vendor selection. So once your order is in and your quantity is not sufficient in your warehouse, then it is a big challenge for a procurement department to choose a specific preferred specific vendors who is actually going to fulfill on time and with a minimal price. Next is the vendor invoice. So when your vendor selection is completed, now your job is to select the vendor, and the final is that shipment. So you may have multiple warehouses from where actually you have to ship, but you do not have that clarity. Doing manually, it takes long time and sometimes is making a error. Finally, we'll cover your questions and we'll answer your questions. Okay. So the challenges with AI, why adding AI on top of ERP creates more complexity, not less. Because data is on silos, AI tools outside ERP reads the and exports. Decisions get made delayed. Manual breach is another challenge because Teams is actually entering data manually and maybe they are copying and pasting. So this is where again time and effort and error uh, probabilities are high. No ERP context. So here vendor history is a very sensitive data, which is for the procurement rule condition mapping is essentially required when you are your team is placing your procurement team is placing order for the particular requirement. We already have introduced ourselves. Pat, if you can introduce.
Yes, thank you so much, Kaushik. I am Pratik. As mentioned, solution sales at appse AI. I spend most of my time on the other side of these conversations, actually talking to teams about what is slowing them down day to day, which is honestly where a lot of today's demos came from. Outside of work, I'm probably the only person who gets a real kick out of watching a messy manual process turn into one clean automated step. It is basically my version of a satisfying puzzle. So yeah, over to you, Kaushik.
All right. Let's no more have any discussion and talks. Let's jump into the demo. The first demo that we are going to cover is that uh, you might be receiving sales order, sales requisition, or purchase requisition from your end customer, and now how easily and quickly one purchase uh, order can be converted in a sales order. Ideally, it is a draft because we believe that we should not depend on completely on AI. We always should keep the final decision on the human resources. So this is a flow that is going to be executed, which is actually can be retrieve the PO from uh, uh, any email service provider. In this case, we'll be considering Gmail, but obviously we are covering all the leading email service providers like Outlook and all. Okay. So here is my PO that I should receive from Growth Vibes. They have a requirement of 2 unit of uh, iPhone 17 and 2 unit of uh, OnePlus 13. Okay. And this is the PO number. As you can see, this is the complete address of the customer. Okay. Now let's see if we send this email to our inbox, and from there, how it is going to resolve the PO, and from there, it can create a sales order, right? Okay. So now um, I'll just quickly type in just front of you pre-sales. I'm sending directly from here. Please find my PO and proceed with the delivery. Okay. So what I'll do, I'll just quickly select this PO from. It may be a email body or it may be a PDF. For now, actually, we are considering PDF. So this PDF has been attached and sent. Let me execute this flow. Meanwhile, let me open the SAP. Yeah, my SAP is here. Now, let's check whether the order has been created or not. The order ID or doc number is 1263. Just remember this one, okay? I have something again to show you. Uh, 1263. Okay. Now, if I go inside sales order and if I open the sales order document, and there, if I open, I try to search 1263. So this is the sales order. So as you can see, this order has been placed under growth drives. Okay. And there are multiple quantities. The quantity is 2 and the product price is 8,000, 80,000 and 70,000. The SKU is DP14 and DP15. Now, the question is that how actually it has identified that product SKU is going to be DP14, 42 and 14 and 15. Okay, because if you look back to the purchase order, you will see there is no SKU is defined. Okay, so the trick is that we have specifically kept all this SKU in a vector database. Okay, so when any new email is arrived in the inbox, we'll quickly check the vector database and we actually do a fuzzy search. In fuzzy search, it identifies the specific product based on the description of the product. There is a description of the product and it identifies the SKU. And by resolving that, it continues with the rest of the part. Now, if I go back to results inbox once again, you will see there is a beautiful email that has been sent as a confirmation where it has mentioned that this is your purchase order. So this was a purchase order, right? And based on that, this order has been created. So for the future correspondence, the end customer can refer to this number, maybe the shipment status, maybe the availability of the open invoices. So every future communication, they can refer to this particular reference number. Let's talk about the second flow, which is the next part. Now, the order has been arrived, sales order has been arrived in your sales department, and they found that they do not have sufficient quantity into their warehouse, or maybe they have consulted with the procurement department or warehouse department. They have confirmed they do not have sufficient stock to dispatch or stock to deliver. Now, what is the second step? Second step is that either you have to produce or you have to send a request to your enlisted vendors. Now, because they have defined, if you look again, they have defined the delivery day, order date, and based on that, the delivery commitment also has been defined. So it is essentially required that you have to select a vendor who has a previous history of successfully delivering order within a time, and obviously the price going to be another factor. So based on that, it will give a list of the vendors whom should be contacted and whom should be requested to delivery the further processing. Now, again, we are using Gmail. Okay. So in Gmail, because this is an internal process, so everybody knows about the SKU and the product price and everything. So it will be a very simple kind of, simple email that we are going to send to the procurement department. And procurement department is going to utilize this flow so that they can get to know the list of vendors they should request for. So say, for example, subject, please find the relevant vendors for the requisition. Okay. So what you have to do, you have to just open the email body simply. I mean, it's a natural language, nothing critical complex. Just you have to write a mail that please identify this email and please check the product, and based on that you select the vendor who can actually deliver on time in a minimum price. So I have just sent it to purchase department, right? Now, if I go and execute this flow, let's see what the magic happened. We have used Teams for the end result, but maybe we can use any other channels like email, like WhatsApp, or maybe Slack, any other IM we can use. That's not a problem. Let's see what is the result that this flow has produced. So I have used this channel. Wow, you can see a wonderfully presented message has been generated by this flow, and it has suggested that for iPhone 17, I can connect to Acme Associates, and for uh, OnePlus, I can connect to Greenleaf Solutions. So let me explain a little bit of this flow. This flow is actually reading the email body. If I go back inside the email, and you will see there is no attachment. It is actually reading the email body. Okay. And once the email body has been read, we have used the AI node, which is just for transforming the uh, email body or natural language, and just to extract the product SEO or objective of the email. Okay. And once we got that, after that, it will be checking the product is not there or not, and a lot of things are there. And finally it will place a purchase order, and finally it will check the purchase order for this particular product last maybe 6 months or 1 year. And based on the uh, search result, maybe 500 or 200 orders, purchase order has been checked based on their pricing, based on their delivery. Every consideration, after every consideration, it will give us a result. For that, actually, we are using another AI. And finally, it is producing a message, a beautiful message for your procurement team. So these are two flows that I had to showcase you. Uh, Pratik will be showing us more interesting flows. Pratik, over to you.
Yes, thank you for that, Kaushik. And it was a lovely presentation. I think it gives me a very clear idea of how seamless it is to get these done. Now, for my part, we are moving on to demo 3, which is today an AP invoice takes around 8 to 12 minutes to type in by hand. What we are going to show you today is just see and watch how long this takes instead. So what I will do is I will show you the PDF. So let's say when I place an order, a vendor sends me an invoice as a PDF through email, right? So this is the PDF of the invoice that we have. So a vendor invoice PDF, when I receive it on my email, I can just run the flow and the AI will extract and match all the fields against the SAP Business One master data, and it will get posted as an AP invoice. So basically what this does is it allows me to understand if all of the details are correct or not, and that way I can seamlessly generate the financials as I require. So let's just move to the process flow itself. So here we have the process flow, and as you can see, what it does is pretty simple. I will just run the process flow first, and then I will explain it to you as we go along. So I will go to the email and I will showcase the email that is present from the vendor. Okay. So I am sending the email I am putting in the recipient and I am putting in the subject for the email, which is for the vendor invoice. Let's just keep it simple and let's just write, please process our invoice. So this is the vendor sending the invoice to the customer who has placed the order. It is a pretty simple attachment based email that once has been sent to the customer, me as a customer, I can check for the invoice and I don't have to do this manually. I can do it. So I will just run this flow. And as you can see, it is working. So I'll just quickly go over the points how to this work. So in the very first node, we are fetching the email that we have received from the vendor, which is the invoice as a PDF. Then we are processing and decoding the email, after which we are searching for the purchase order. Okay. Now, once we have searched for the purchase order, if it exists in the system, then we move on to the second step, which is we are validating and then we are creating the accounts payable invoice in the SAP Business One system. And if it is not present, then it will notify your team through a Teams message. So as you can see, the flow has executed successfully and we can check the output, which is the AP invoice in the SAP Business One system in itself. So as you can see, we have the document number, which is 1165. And this is the number which will be present on the AP invoice in SAP Business One. So I'll just close this and I'll go to purchasing and open the purchase orders and search using the document number that we have. 1165 is the document number. So I'll just type it in and there you have it. There's the purchase order. Now, as you can see, the purchase order has all of the details. Now, what we are doing is we are getting all of the details of the purchase order. As you can see, it has all of the line items and all of the amounts and everything in place under 60 seconds. So this is the same invoice, same SAP Business One, but zero manual keying. So this is the process flow that we have. And now for the last part, we are going to fulfill this order. Okay. Now this one is a huge one for fulfillment teams because live inventory across every warehouse, deciding how this order actually ships. Okay. So watch this split. Now there might be a scenarios where we have a multi-line sales order. Okay. What the AI does is it checks real-time stock across warehouses and the order fans out into separate fulfillment instructions per warehouse. Now, for this, I would again go and showcase you the order that we have. What this workflow basically does is it gets the email again for the sales order and then it decodes it and it gets the order details, right? After the order details is done, it searches for the item in SAP Business One and then it searches for the customer using the email ID. Now, after that, we will create the order in the ERP itself and we will fetch the product using a local storage, for an example, an Airtable, where we have the live inventory maintained of every warehouse using a separate flow. Based on this, the AI intelligently flags the order and it automatically assigns every warehouse to ship that specific order. Okay, so let's watch it in action. What I will do is I will go to the email and I will open up the email that we have for this. So just give me a moment and this is just cleaning up my inbox. And here we are going to go the email and again, it's the same process. So I will send the email to the recipient with the subject. Let me just type it in. So it is again the same normal email that your vendors or your customers they would write to you in. There is no technical jargon that is required. So they will just attach the PDF and that is it. So I will just quickly show you the PDF first. So as you can see, this is the purchase order for the items creative starter set and the Sarsa clip. We require 2,500 quantities each of these two items, totaling to 5,000 quantities, right? Now, this is a purchase order. Now, when it gets to us, we of course would not have all of the inventory stored in one warehouse location. However, we do have all of it available across different warehouses. So that is exactly what we are aiming to solve here. Now I will send this purchase order PDF through the email. Let me just attach it to the email and send. So we have the PDF coming into our inbox, and what this process flow will do is it will fetch the email as I have explained, and then it will go and it will look for the details in the email of the purchase order, based on which it will create a sales order, and then it will create the fulfillment intelligently. So I'm just running this process flow. And as you can see, it is executing. As I have mentioned previously, this is my most favorite part, which is seeing the workflow happen in real time. You can see the progress with all the green successes, and it is very satisfying to watch. So what we are currently doing is we are creating the order, and at the same point of time, we are searching for the inventory. And again, we are waiting to create the delivery note based on the AI's flagging and markup of which warehouse as how many quantities. Now, there might be scenarios where line item A has been fulfilled completely because we have ample amount of stock. There might be scenarios where line item B cannot be fulfilled completely because we do not have enough stock. So in that scenario, we can also issue a notification through the teams as a channel where we will be notified that this line item has not been able to fulfill completely. So since the workflow is done, let me just showcase you the end result. I will just go and check for the details of the SAP. So this is the order ID 1264. I will go back again to SAP and I will search in the sales module under the sales order. So 1264 is the order number. And if I go enter, as you can see, based on the purchase order, we have created the sales order just like that. As you can see, both the line items are present along with 2,500 quantities for each. Now, since the sales order has been created, the system will automatically generate a delivery document as well. So I will just go to the relationship map. And as you can see, as I have mentioned, since we had multiple warehouses, we have all the different delivery documents right here. Now imagine creating 6 delivery documents individually, going through all of the warehouses, checking where you have the stock or not. So I'll, for instance, open one delivery note, and here you can see item 1 has been fulfilled for 1,000 quantity from a certain warehouse. Okay, now I will just move on to another delivery note where you would be able to see that item 1 has been fulfilled for 500 quantity from another warehouse. So that is a total of 1,500. Now we still have 1,000 left because we had an order for 2,500. So in this delivery note, you can see the remaining 1,000 items have been fulfilled. So item 1's delivery document creation is complete. We have completely fulfilled that specific line item. Now for the second line item, as we can see, item 2 has been fulfilled for 600 quantities. Now, moving on forward, we have The second delivery document for this item 2, which is fulfilled for 800 quantities. So that totals up to 1400. And for the last bit, we are going to check the third delivery document, which is 900. So that totals up to the number of quantities that we are shipping. And along with that, we are since unable to fulfill item 2, as I was mentioning, we have also received a notification on the team's channel where it showcases us that 200 units of line item 2 are currently pending fulfillment and will be processed upon the next stock replenishment. So what this does is one order goes in, the right warehouses out automatically. That's all four. Now back to Kaushik to unpack what you just saw.
Uh, Thanks, Pratik. It was a nice presentation and it was so elaborative. I believe that our audience has a good clarity on what these flows can do and how the magic can happen, and what are the things that is going to, uh, I mean, shorten up your day-to-day life, right?
Yes, absolutely.
So just to recap, the workflow one, which was customer purchase order to PDF. Now, in this flow, we have shown you that from a simple flow, a simple PDF, how appse Connect can save your time and make a accuracy of that. Okay. Second thing is that for the second flow that we have showcased you is that it has preferred vendor selection. I have seen many businesses or many organizations in the industry. They are actually facing a big challenge with vendor selection. Okay, because purchase request searching for appropriate vendor is actually going to impact the end customer satisfaction, because if the pricing, if the delivery date is not fulfilled or matched, in that case it is going to be a dissatisfaction. On the other hand, if the minimum price you are not getting, in that case you are losing financially. So rather doing manually, I think automation is absolutely needed because the feature is here, right? uh,
Absolutely.
Pratik, I think vendor invoice you have absolutely explained. I mean, a complete detailed explanation that you have given. If you have any more things that you have to, highlight on, you can go ahead.
Absolutely, Kaushik. And you're correct. We have gone through a detailed explanation. And it is just like I said, which is on the invoice workflow, it usually took 8 to 12 minutes of manual typing in the order per invoice per person with real risk on amounts and tax codes. What you saw took under a minute with full extraction match against the vendor, purchase order reference, line items, and tax, and then posted straight into SAP Business One. So, this is what we are essentially solving. Moving on to the fourth workflow, which was the warehouse split. Uh, Today, everything defaults to one warehouse, regardless of actual stock, which means partial shipments and back orders. What you saw was a real time inventory. Okay. Now, this is checked across every warehouse. Order lines are split intelligently, and fulfillment instructions are generated per warehouse automatically. Over to you, Kaushik. I think I have recapped both of them. So, yeah,
So this is a very interesting question that why AppCI? Okay. Um, AppCI is something that going to cater enterprise grade ERP solutioning with the capability of AI automation. Okay. So we have complete focus on the enterprises and enterprise ERPs. Not only ERPs, it can be any enterprise applications. Okay. The most important thing is that when we are talking about integration, we actually running our business and we have a problem to solve and we need a quicker solution. I mean, as quick as possible, we can address that problem. So for that, we have come up with a solution with pre-built uh, pre-built workflows, which are actually over a period of time deployed to the end customer's environment, and it ran on the live environment. And based on that, the feedback has been collected and it has been rectified. So you can say it is a complete foolproof solution as a package. Now we can just deploy and boom, that's ready to run. We can actually implement in a business, live business. Okay. Security wise, we are very much concerned because data is the most precious thing for a company or for a organization. So we have looked, we have given a emphasis on the security side, security aspect. That's why we are SOC 2 certified, and this is going to give you the absolute top-notch security assurance that appse can give you, right? Now, say these are some use cases that we have explained. Maybe there are few use cases which is day to day your team is facing, and you need a tool or you need a platform where your team can quickly learn, and they can create a flow and they can solve the problem. So looking at that aspect, what we have done, we have uh, primarily focused on no code so that anyone can quickly, just to reduce the learning curve. Okay. And so that any team members, it is not essentially required that you have a technical knowledge. If you are ERP expert, that is perfectly okay, because our platform is designed such a way that you just come in, everything is written in English, and you absolutely can develop a flow and you can deploy in an environment. Ideally, what we suggest, you should first run in on the staging, because there are business specific requirements, business logics, and business rules for every individual enterprises, right? So for that particular customization or that particular changes, we suggest that you should first run on the staging environment, and once it is ready for go live, once you get the acceptance, you can shift it to the production. Just a simple step, you have to change the credential. It is not like that again you have to create a flow or something like that. The same flow, just change the credential, it from staging to production. That's it. I think a lot of things we have already delivered, already have spoken about. There must be some questions I'm expecting. Pratik, can you help me with the questions that is there in the inbox, maybe?
Yes, absolutely. I do already see some questions from our viewers, and I would request you to drop them in the chat as they come to mind. We have got time limit for this. So, starting off with the very first question, what happens when the AI gets something wrong? A misread invoice amount or the wrong vendor recommendation?
That is a very genuine question. So that's why from the very beginning, if you can remember, I was talking about validation, human validation. So rather producing a sales order, you should go ahead with a draft sales order, which is actually going to double check that once the AI has been created and saving the time, and hopefully that will minimize the number of errors. Once that is done, the human also is going to check. So you can say it's a maker and checker combination. So maker is actually AI and checker is human being. So reducing time, at the same time uh, reducing errors. So that is the ideal ideal step or ideal approach you should adopt.
All right, perfect. So, one question I have from Raj, which is any format of PO will be accepted as most of vendors manage their own formats.
Yeah, actually, as I said, like over a period of 15 years, I have seen many use cases. I have seen some cases where there is a sheet and printed sheet, and the sales guys they are visiting to the end customers or maybe the sellers, shop owners. They are actually marking that data, right? I need this product for X quantity, this product for 20 quantity or Y quantity, and we have also eventually processed that sheet, and based on that we have created the uh, sales order. So we can process PDF, we can process image, we can obviously process simple text, we can process email body, we can process EDI as well. So yes, I think we are covering everything.
All right. So, moving on to the next question, which is asked by Matthew, which is does this only work with SAP Business One or can it plug into other ERPs like NetSuite or Business Central?
Interesting question. I think we have missed out that part. We should actually cover this part earlier. So thank you for asking this question. Now, yes, we are actually, already integrating all the leading ERPs you talk about, whether it is NetSuite, whether it is Business Central or Finance and Operations, whether it is SAP B1, SAP S4 HANA, SAP ECC. Okay. Also, we are connecting CPI, right? We have Sage ecosystem like Sage 300, Sage 100, Sage X3. Okay, so yeah, I think you can name any ERP or enterprise grade ERP you can talk. We also can connect QuickBook. So I think we are covering absolutely all the popular and all the uh, mostly used ERP solutions. Yeah.
Okay. And I do see a lot of other questions here, Kaushik, but I don't think we do have the time for that. I'll just pick one more, which is again from Raj, which is this available as on prem or locally hosted on the client server?
Uh, appse is absolutely available in any delivery model. It can be delivered on premises because some enterprises they have their own IT policy so that they don't want any data to be exposed to the outside world. So absolutely, we are catering that rule and we are honoring that rule, and we have a solution for that. On-premise can be delivered. Also, we have some situations where industry, organization they don't want to take a responsibility of hardware or maintenance of IT solutions, so they prefer to go ahead with on cloud. That is also available. So just we have showcased the flows that flows were running on cloud. Okay, but yeah, we have options to run on premise as well.
All right. I think that will have to do for now for the audience. Kaushik, thank you for taking those questions up. And following this, we would like to want you to scan the QR code. Kaushik, if you could just explain a bit more on the appse AI Academy side of things for people who would be more interested to get a hands on experience of how this entire process works.
So yeah, first of all, I'm sorry because of time limit, we were unable to answer all the questions. Okay, but yes, we are open. You can absolutely send us email. We will obviously address that. Second is that Udemy workshops. So the idea is that, as I said earlier, that when you are subscribing for the to the with the platform appse, you will have access to the complete platform. Okay. Now, what we suggest that as much as possible, day-to-day problems that you want to automate, you can design it yourself. So for that, you might require a comprehensive learning, right? So what we have, it's an initiative that we have, uh, uh, released a Udemy workshop, and you can just simply, it hardly take, well, I think, 6 to 8 hours, and you are ready to design a flow. Okay. So you can scan it, you can log into Udemy, you can absolutely can go through the uh, workshop. That's it.
Right. So, yeah, that is about everything I have to add from my end as well. And before we let you go, genuinely thank you for spending this time with us and for the questions today. I know we were not able to take all of those up, so there's that. But if you would require specific discussions, we can absolutely have a one on one. I know that there were some questions regarding the pricing structure, so please feel free to contact us at the given number or drop us a mail at sales@appseconnect.com. We would be glad to answer your questions and have a chat with you anytime. And yeah, that's it from my side. Thank you again.
Pratik, I must say we had a lovely audience because the questions, the level of questions that we have, received is absolutely a day-to-day problem of the industry. So thank you all for joining this webinar. And yeah, any question, any doubt, you can actually connect sales@appseconnect.com. We are also available over phone. So this is a number. Thanks once again. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.